The memory or experience that I want to recite is 23 years of struggle with a governmental section. I'm going to complain of the competition between the government and private sections. That was finally resolved by one article that the knowledge-based companies pursued, but it was very long and time-consuming. I just want to say that we have a lot of legislations in this country, but uh, the problem is those laws not being applied. Let me give you a few examples. Every year, 20,000 people die in accidents. 100 people in 80,000 people are incapacitated. Financially, it costs more than 10 billion 2 months. So why Iran is like this? Why isn't it like this in Turkey? Is it because of the culture? Well, it is to some extent because of the culture, but the legislations are also involved. Firstly, getting your driver's degree in Europe is like getting your bachelor's degree. I spent so much time for my driver's degree in Europe as I would have for a bachelor's degree. So when you take a driver's license, if you make a mistake, they will uh, revoke your driver's license and you have to go through all these process. Here you see someone has his child on the car, half of his body is out of the car, and what's interesting is that there are cameras everywhere. They also have face detectors. They can detect your face. What will happen if this happened in Europe? They would revoke their driver's license. They would take their car to a parking and they would send him to a psychiatrist. If he's crazy, they would send him to a hospital. If he's healthy, they would send him to a prison and they would take the child away from him. And here in Tehran, we've seen it a lot. The law is preventative in the world. Let me give you an advice. There is a video in the YouTube. An Italian woman lets people do all they want with her. In the Italy, in the Europe, that you cannot even uh, look badly at a duckling. 10 minutes after, the cops will be all over you. What are you going to do with the dog? They are so sensitive even to the dogs. We had a mouse problem. My son went to buy a mouse trap. The seller said, is the mouse a baby mouse or a mature mouse? They are so sensitive. Now, an Italian woman in an amphitheater, she sat and said, for 6 hours, I will do nothing. I will not complain. And on the table are flowers, combs, perfumes, and guns and blazers. Please go and watch that video. In the first half hour, people use flowers, perfume, comb. After that, people start to hurt him, and at the end, someone tries to kill her with a gun. In the Europe, law rules. If there is no law, people will revert back to 3,000 years before. We've got good rules, but they are not preventative. We've got a rule. There is a law. I fought 20 years for that. It was enacted on the parliament. Everyone says that the way to salvation for this country is the private section. We have a few problems in this country. Everyone has solved them. We are talking about AI. It's a new technology. We haven't yet figured out its complexities. Now, we are going to design a mobile. We all know how to redesign a mobile. They all look the same. And some things are over. Driving rules are over. Air pollution is over. We waste about $150 million every year, but its solution is obvious. We cannot sit and discuss the solutions all over again. Put the experiences on the table and we will solve it. If the government is inefficient in manufacturing, uh, it's needless to say, it's obvious. Even the supreme leader has pointed that out, that we gave the key of manufacturing to the government, we had to give it to the private sectors. All the governments are regulators. They don't do things. That's why they are so agile. They don't care if a product fail or not. They are regulators. They play with tariffs. All the world is fighting on tariffs. If they want something to not be imported, they play with the tariffs. What I wanted to say is, after 20 years of struggle, the parliament enacted a rule called uh, the League of Knowledge-Based Companies. A few times I was legally prosecuted and I had to go to the court just for that. And these guys know my antecedent. The second one took about 1.5 years, and the first one they withdrew. But is it what the Ministry of Defense supposed to do? Is to pick fights with the private sectors and take them to court? And I was accused of all sorts of things, spying and anything that you can think of. We have a rule called the leap of the knowledge base. First, why only knowledge base? Someone is making قرمه sabzi, someone is making glass. Why must the Ministry of Defense go after the one who is making قرمه sabzi? We have a plea from the parliament to generalize this rule to everything, not just knowledge based. We've got a law called the Leap in the Knowledge Base. It says no competition, and it has a committee that judges. Great, it has a committee. I mean, I cannot say that I've made oil and that's it. I have to say that I've made this. What am I making, and can I provide for the country? After that, I can ask for the governmental manufacturer to be limited. The way to redemption of this in this country is to give responsibility to the private section through 5 or 10 years. The private section can compete, and the one that works better can stay, and those who are lazy can go away. A lot of the companies climbed high, and a lot failed because they couldn't keep pace with the technology. The one is Nokia. Nobody regrets. The government obviously supports them to an extent. To make that happen, you have to, sorry, I use the phrase have to, you have to establish rock solid rules, and these rules must be preventative. People must go to prison for breaking them. If I spent 10 years in the courts, if I went to the strategic council, if I spent 6 months in that council, if I got a warrant that my opponent must leave the ring, if after 2 years they never actually did it, well, they mustn't be free to go, but they are walking around because they can. That must be considered a crime. Like if I have more than $10,000 in our house, that is considered a crime. If they catch us, they will put us in prison. And also you will take back the money. Well, that is a crime. If that is how it is, it will take more than a few light years just to go through the competitions of one governmental organization. Now let me give a summary. Our government sectors in the past few years, with the facilitations that they had, they became stronger. and very, very large. And they are influential. They have access to everything. The minister himself wrote a letter for my lawsuit to bake me, and I'm still here. They couldn't bake me. Now, either the judge was a good man or he just couldn't find a reason to. They are really strong, and it's hard to compete with them, but it's possible. For those young people who are just starting, I want to say that there is no other choice. It's our country, and we should accept that it's ours. It might take two generations. We are the first. The next may also get crushed to fix the infrastructures. Thank you very much.